Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of this podcast this guy hasn't seen, where we trade movies and other forms of pop culture back and forth. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host, my running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to be here tonight. I am so happy to be talking movies once again with my friend and with all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Omari, I gave you one this week. Now this one, I'm really enjoying the catalog that we're putting together here.
All right.
And I want part of my decision making is wanting to spread our catalog as far and wide as it can get, because that's enjoyable to me. Okay. And one thing that's going to be hard to find for the two of us picking movies are female centric films.
True.
And at one point a little while ago, I went through some of the greatest hits, and you had actually seen a good number of those. But this one was an interesting one because I had maybe seen it once, and I remembered it being fine. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, is that one of those that was like really ahead of its time? Could that have been the thing? And I was very curious about it and was wanting to rewatch it in my personal life.
Okay.
So that's why I added it to the list, and it felt like a time for the ladies. So I pulled it out of the bag.
Yeah, and that you did.
Have I said what we're watching?
Well, I guess the Pussycat is now out of the bag. It was Josie and the Pussycats.
Josie and the Pussycats from 2001. A girl group find themselves in the middle of a conspiracy to deliver subliminal messages through popular music. It is written and directed by Harry Elfont, Deborah Kaplan, and Mark Webb. You may or may not recognize those names as one of the people who brought you, or the group of people who brought you one of my favorite movies of the 90s, encapsulating the 90s in a little ball.
You're saying like the people in this movie?
Oh, well, no, the writer and director combo also made Can't Hardly Wait.
Okay.
The 90s, the teen film of the 90s that was my 90s teen film. And so that was just something, right? I noticed. Yeah, that's the one with Party and like Jennifer Love Hewitt, a bunch of
people from this one as well.
Yeah, a ton of folks in it.
Well, I'll mention it as we go on.
Yeah, this one stars Rachel Lee Cook as Josie, and then you had Tara Reid and Rosario Dawson. You also have Alan Cummings and Parker Posey in prominent roles.
Yes.
So I've already kind of delved in why I picked this. Omari, what were you thinking?
Well, yeah. Well, I hadn't seen the movie, and as to why, it was because it's Josie and the Pussycats. Nothing against Josie and the Pussycats as a concept, but as a kid, I was not really into Josie and the Pussycats. I thought they had a catchy song that I heard on a commercial. It apparently was the theme song for the old thing. It was probably like a commercial for Boomerang or something. The whole Josie and the Pussycats, long tails, ears for hats. That line always stuck with me. Now, as to why I hadn't seen this movie, like I said, one, I think that was the main reason I didn't see it when it came out. Because I definitely had a crush on Rosario Dawson. And, so seeing a movie with her in it would be cool. And music is music, Music make you lose control and all that. However, it's Josie and the Pussycats, and given the actors in the movie... Actually, no, it came out 2001, right?
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah. Let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go now. Woo! Let's go.
2001, the same year, crazy year for movies that would change movies for the next 2 decades. In 2001, you had the release of Harry Potter's first film. You had the release of the Lord of the Rings first film. And you had the first film of a little franchise called The Fast and the Furious.
Damn.
2001, big year for movies.
Very big year for movies.
Good or bad, you may be like, the year movies died. I don't know.
Well, I'd say there's one.
If you don't like the
series
big blockbuster studio pictures, the sequelization of IP and all of that shit, you might fucking hate this year. I mean, look at what we're watching, Josie and the Pussycats. It's a rehash of a fucking comic book from the 50s, 60s, from the Archie universe. Like, this isn't like a Marvel or DC property.
That was a realization I came to. I'm like, wait, Riverdale? Like Archie? But yeah, that was primarily the main reason. Especially around that time, I would have been late middle school, early high school. And there were certain things that came out that time where I'm like, that could be interesting, but my reputation, if people found out, could take a hit. And it wasn't pristine.
Reputation?
Hold on. It wasn't pristine to begin with. So
it was non-existent.
But in my head, it was known and not good. Because if I wasn't hearing anything positive, that meant it was all negative. You don't have something nice to say, don't say nothing at all. If no one's saying anything at all, they've got nothing nice to say. That's a terrible way to look at the world. I'm happy I never actually looked at it just like that. But anyway,
if you don't have anything nice to say, make sure it's at least funny.
Also true. Also true. But there's like, but I say that to say there are some things that people my age who are male and straight are like, I watched this when I was younger, and when I was younger, I was like, I did not watch that because I did not want my straightness to be judged. Like, I didn't watch Sailor Moon, for instance.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Sailor Moon.
Well,
I mean, Bring It On, though. Bring It On? You watch Bring It On?
Because my sisters watched it. And
yeah, you had sisters. I mean, come on. I had a mom.
They weren't watching Josie and the Pussycats or Sailor Moon, I'll tell you that. Because there were some things I did watch that, you know, when you've got sisters and a mother controlling the TV, is like, well, I don't feel like being bored by myself right now. I guess I'll watch what they're watching. There are some things like that, but if it's something that they weren't watching, I probably didn't watch it either. With the exception, I think, being like the Powerpuff Girls. And that's because it came on around some other stuff. There's always exceptions to the rules, but certain things I try to be like, I don't want nobody finding out I watched this. And so I didn't watch it. Not even like watch it in secret because who the fuck gives a damn and would look at that information up? No, I just said, nope, I'm not putting myself in this situation. No. But obviously, watch what you want. Love it. But, you know, Sailor Moon, classic series. Its success speaks for itself.
Or watch what your friends tell you to watch.
As we're doing right now. So, Josie and the Pussycat. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting music. I knew they were musicians because of aforementioned commercial. Mm-hmm. And that was about it. I don't really read the synopses, as I've stated on other episodes. So I was like, what am I expecting? Music. Because I know they're musicians. I know that much. And then I, you know, obviously turn on the music. Turn on the movie earlier today. And the first thing we see the introduction of Dujour. And I'm like, immediately, oh, so this is parody. Because they had their song. They had their song Backdoor Lover. And not, which Lol. Especially later when you see the credits, and you see the lyrics of the song. I'm like, okay, it's exactly what they were going for with the double entendre. But the cast of characters they had playing Dujour, literally, this movie is yet another time capsule. That's one of the best things I like about this series we've been doing is the time capsule of movies that we've been grabbing. This is that era. You got the fucking road trip peeps, like all your Euro trip road trips, Stifler wasn't in the movie, but people who were usually in movies with Stifler. Like, that. You know what I mean? Like, I was expecting Stifler to show up at one moment. Just because that. I know he's Sean William Scott, and he's done a lot of things that aren't Stifler. I don't say Stifler out of disrespect. He's Stifler. Anyway.
Yeah, what was that movie, The Rock?
The Rundown.
That was a good one. Have you seen that one, The Rundown?
Yeah. That was I saw that. I'm not sure if I've seen Walking Tall, but I saw The Rundown because it was The Rock and Stifler.
I saw Walking
and
Tall.
Rosario Dawson.
It was okay. Rosario's everywhere.
But I'm saying she also was big at that time, but she was also in a movie with Stifler, and she was in this movie. So I'm just saying, people you would normally see in a movie with Stifler around that time were in this movie, and upon seeing Dujour, I knew exactly what to expect for like the whole fucking movie, at least as far as brand of comedy.
Man, props to Rosario, like been consistently working this whole. Like, she's pretty much the only person out of this film that is still consistently working today. I mean, Seth Green and Breckin Meyer are doing their own projects. Does that
Did
count?
Breckin Meyer end up part of Robot Chicken too?
I mean, he frequently
I'm just saying
appears on it.
I'm saying he is part of that whole thing because I'm trying to remember where else I've heard Breckin Meyer in recent, and I think Seth Green's Family Guy, and so he's set for whenever until he wants to stop. And Breckin Meyer, I'm not sure if Robot Chicken makes new episodes. Comcast doesn't carry Cartoon Network anymore, so I wouldn't be able to watch it even if they did.
Yeah, Seth Green made a movie. He directed a movie pretty recently, within the last 3 years, that starred Breckin Meyer. I never ended up watching it because it was just like, I don't know. I could be shitting on something that I haven't seen, so please correct me in the comments if anybody watching this knows. But it looks like in the promotion of the film, it looks like the film's about a 40-year-old rich white guy who's having problems in his life, so he goes to Thailand and really enjoys himself. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Tara Reid's not really doing anything lately, and neither is is Rachel Lee Cook doing anything?
No, I don't. Not that I'm aware of.
Same.
I'm sure all these people are working in some form, just not.
They're not as prominent of names.
Yeah. Currently in 2022, Rachel Lee Cook was listed as appearing in Spirit Halloween. Not sure what that is. And then also, Tis the Season. You can see Rachel Lee Cook at Spirit Halloween in Denver, Colorado from 9 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. That's mean.
I've just never heard of that movie. Spirit Halloween. I've never heard it.
Oh my god. All right, so let's go into some standout moments. What do you got?
All right, so the fucking plane crash, because I was not expecting.
I guess we're still in like initial reactions. I guess so.
We'll mix it all in. I don't care. But the bottom line is, I thought Dujour was going to be like their rivals for the movie because, again, didn't read the description. So
Yeah.
I just thought, like, oh, here's the douchebag boy band that they got to compete with for stardom, and they're going to be around for a while. I did laugh a lot at all the meanings Dujour had. Dujour means friendship. Could you tell him Dujour means hygiene? Come on, guys. Dujour means this. Dujour means.
Yeah.
So,
Sure means love.
but then the fucking plane crashes, and I'm like, wait, they die? What the fuck? And then they play the fucking main song they like to play. 6 whole hours in bad days. I'm like, I actually remember hearing this 6 whole hours song.
Yeah, it was an earworm for a minute back around this time, I think.
I remember at least hearing that line. I didn't know the rest of the song, but I did remember hearing that. And then they mentioned Riverdale, and that's when I'm like, wait, Riverdale, like Archie? Oh shit. But yeah, it was real early though, where I think when the guy went to the bookstore or the CD store, music store, and he's like, play this Dujour song. And someone immediately says something, I'm like, okay, mind control with music. That's what's going on in this movie. And it kept going. You even had the fucking I want a Big Mac. Mel, you're vegetarian.
All right, so if we're at the record store, we're at like scene 3 or so.
Pretty early, yeah.
At what point do you start noticing the product placement?
On the plane.
Yeah, okay, because it's I mean, Target logos are everywhere on the plane right when the movie opens.
That's what I meant to put in my notes about the final disclosures. Oh, final disclosures, Jesus Christ. Work mixing together. Anyway, I wanted to mention the product placement, the idea they decided to go with for this movie of, hey, it's a movie about subliminal messaging to get all this. It's genius when you want to have it be funded by product placement. It's the best excuse for getting product placement and thus making a lot of money off of it. Like, making fun of something like that is the best excuse to make a bank in the exact same fashion.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
love that
McDonald's
they did
paid
that.
a ton of money for that Tara Reid's shower scene.
True.
You know, to be the brand in that shower scene, I'm sure they paid a lot of money. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we can go into standout. I'll throw out a standout moment, and that is, speaking of the people who work with Stifler, the instructional video starring the actual IRL Eugene Levy as Eugene Levy, explaining to the world officials, the world leaders assembled on how this whole thing works of like putting subliminal messaging in rock music for teenagers, because they earn money but they don't spend money, so they don't contribute with taxes or anything like that, so we got to get them to contribute to the economy by subliminal messages in rock music.
Because when the economy succeeds, the country succeeds. Fuck yeah. I think it's interesting. They're trying on some levels, because the only time that you do not see branding of any kind is when Parker Posey's character opens that door. When that door opens, you don't see any branding or product placement for the entirety of anytime they are inside that war room thing. Yeah.
All of the product placement and branding shit turns off. Any other time in the movie, it's in literally every single shot. There's something. So I think that's them trying to make an artful decision of oh, now you're seeing this is you're seeing the behind the scenes, but this whole thing is actually like it's meta.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, nowadays people, that's exactly what they'd be saying. Look how meta we are. They're gonna make a sequel to Josie and the Pussycats, where you had directors talking about making the first Josie and the Pussycats and how meta it was and revolutionary for its time. How do we keep it going? And the whole movie's just a circle jerk for the previous trilogy.
They've already been teased in the Riverdale CW universe. They'll be coming back.
That's cool.
Not these. Not Rachel. I mean, I think it would be cool. You couldn't get Rosario Dawson, as we've discussed. But
you could, maybe.
I mean, maybe bear a bunch of money.
Yeah. But
she'll come do a little CW show.
Yeah, I found out
she's Ahsoka. She's Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah. That she is. But I didn't realize it was a comic at first because all I knew was maybe there was a 60s cartoon and I wasn't even sure about that. But it wasn't until old girl was like, she's like, why are you even here? I'm just here because I was in the comic book. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's exactly what this is. It's a comic book character and an unpopular one at that they were just like, we're putting her in the movie, damn it.
From what I understand, she is their main antagonist in the comic books. Like every story is like, Josie and the girls are prettier than me and I'm not as popular as them. Let me try and sabotage them in some way. Oh, I've foibled.
Okay.
I'm covered in mess and they're playing a rock show. End of comic.
Fair enough. But yeah, the plot wasn't necessarily the least predictable of one. Like you had the pretty much clearly when they make their little promise with the bus passes. I'm like, oh, don't do that. Don't do the bus thing, because you know it's not going to work out. You guys are definitely not going to be a band first at this point. And so you have your inevitable Rosario Dawson seeing the behind the music thing with that same exact quote.
I'm going to be honest with you. And it's weird because we've just been praising her this whole time. But my least favorite acting performance in this film is Rosario Dawson's.
I can give you that.
I don't know what's going on. But it's also a problem because she's one of the few people who's actually asked to act on like a dramatic level in this film. Yeah. Everybody else is just like Tara Reid is actually doing a pretty solid comedic character. Her dimwit character is
as
like
played out as it is. There were some legit laughs I got from like her.
Yeah, I was telling Jen it was reminding me a lot of Amanda Seyfried in Mean Girls.
Ah, yes,
like, a good dimwit kind of funny character. I think she did that well. Rachel Lee Cook's okay. She's fine. She's not asked to do a lot.
Yeah.
Other than like I think my takeaway from her was like she was syncing well. Like I felt like she was doing a good job like playing the guitar and lip syncing, even though I knew it wasn't her doing either of those things. More than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the bus pass scene, because Rosario's got to be the one to carry that and do that dialogue of like, you know what, guys, let's keep these so we remember where we've come from. And then like the staring at the behind the music and being like the pouty, I'm getting ignored person at practice and stuff.
Yeah.
I just wasn't feeling it.
And I was wondering early, I was like, they're clearly like sowing dissension on purpose, but I was like, but why though? You know what I mean? It's better to have them as puppets if they're always happy. You know what I mean? Like, just keep them all happy. Even the times they were questioning you, like, wait a minute, is this weird?
Particularly the Tara Reid character, you'd think anybody, all of them would think like, oh, well, we can just keep this girl strung on forever.
Yeah, if there's one person that you go, we can manipulate her. If I'm them, The second I hear that girl go, I want a Big Mac, and her friends have to remind her she's a vegetarian, that right there is like, you are the most susceptible to anything we do. They're like, hey, but she's like, but Mel, you're vegetarian. But I really just want one. Let's get one on the way home. Wait, they reminded her she's vegetarian and she still said, fuck it, I want a Big Mac? Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole, I mean, and there's a whole other layer of the Carson Daly, them trying to murder them scene.
Total
because
Request dead. That was one of my standout.
It's like the two of them used to, they were actively dating at this time. And so that's why there's that whole dialogue of like, you're cute. I would totally date you. I would totally date you if you weren't trying to kill me. And it's just, it's too of the moment. And when we're this far away removed and you have to be conscious of the fact that he was dating Tara Reid in that moment to get that joke, it's like, that's not good.
I can feel you on that. I thought that they were just going to end up being together. Like, that's how they were going to get out of the situation. Like, they're doing this, but eventually they just go, fuck it, start making out. And then he's like, let's change this. But no, she still had the whole, like, I never date you moment. She's like, okay, good. She's not that stupid to where she would date a guy that's actively trying to kill her. I fucking, that wasn't Aries Spears. Okay, it was Aries Spears.
Yeah. He probably wishes it wasn't.
Yeah, Aries Spears and half of the impressions he was doing. And then the one where he was rightfully called out by Rosario Dawson. He's like trying to do Chris Rock. She's like, that's a terrible Chris Rock. And I'm like, it is. That's like they might as well have me come in there and do a Chris Rock impression. I can't get the vocal range for Chris Rock. Anyway, bottom line is, it was cool to see him though. He was funny, huh?
I said, you're not gonna see me doing it. Yeah, I guess he was funny.
I could have also been without him. Don't get me wrong. That scene was a standout moment for various reasons. Anyway, we have the inevitable heel turn for Josie once she's brainwashed.
Yep.
Just maximum bitch. I did think it was funny with the line of puppies grow up to be dogs. That then die. It's like, damn, that is like terrible to tell to it works because you get an idea just how innocent minded Tara Reid's character is supposed to be, where that is the most insulting thing you can say.
No, it's got great moments. That line is solid. Yeah, puppies grow up to be dogs and then they die.
It's like, well, damn. But yeah, eventually
her walking scene, because she's not a villain for very long. She's a villain for about 10 minutes of this film.
Yeah.
If that. And during her walking scene, I found it interesting that she's suddenly not famous at all.
No one notices her on the street.
She goes from not being able to take a step outside 2 scenes prior to now being able to fall flat on her face in the middle of the sidewalk in front of everybody, and no one even turns around. Nobody even acknowledges her existence.
Yeah.
Just thought that was funny.
Now, I was saying when we get closer to the climax, we had the return of Dujour. I will say, early on, whenever we first see the hooded figure, I'm like, did one of them survive? Maybe that's what's going on.
Oh, with the writing on the mirror.
Well, they show him before that too. like he's like near them or some shit where they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And it seemed like he was trying to warn them, but he definitely wrote on the mirror as well. And writing on the mirror, I'm like, this could be someone from Dujour, but it also could just be someone else because this record company apparently did it before Dujour. Like that seemed to be part of the issue is that they keep doing it, and they even admitted that's why they invented behind the music. What reason do you need? Drug overdose? Bad getting to the like, you know, it could be that way in real life. Like, hey, we make the stars we want, and when they start getting uppity, they have the old folly of every fucking celebrity: drugs, overdose. Damn, they didn't learn from the 800 before them. So tragic.
I mean, it's definitely it's probably the case for at least a few. I mean, we're pretty sure that's what happened with Marilyn.
Monroe.
Yeah, that was pretty much. Yeah.
President's birthday was a little too happy for the public's enjoyment. But yeah, and then but you get that whole like climax scene with the return of Dujour and the fucking "I love you" scene in the car where she does the apology. She's like, "I love you, Val. I love you too. I love you." I'm like, oh my god, stop! And then just Parker Posey's character in general, she was.
Shout out to Parker Posey. I am a big fan of Parker Posey from like the Christopher Guest movies, and yeah, she is insane in this movie. I feel like she came on and she was allowed to do whatever the fuck she wanted to do in every take, and she just makes big choices. And I've said in previous episodes, it's going to end up being one of my quotes, one of my catchphrases.
Ooh.
is I'm here for big choices.
It's a good catchphrase.
I'm here for big choices. I'm here for it. So yeah, I really appreciated her in this film. And that ending, like the ending for her and Alan Cummings is insane. It is fucking ridiculous. We become a different movie for 10 minutes. It's ridiculous.
It's so out of random. It's fantastic though.
Oh my god. It is out of control.
Clearly you also have the final show where they do the song after revealing the evil plot to people. They then do a show where they're just like, if you like us, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Decide for yourself. Naturally, the crowd ends up liking them. Because if you're coming in and the crowd, even though they've been brainwashed, they still have it in their forefront. We like this group. Mm-hmm. All you have, I think I mentioned something similar with Airheads. All you have to do is be decent.
Yeah.
Be decent. They're already conditioned to like you, so they're going to want you to succeed.
Like, people aren't animals in that way. Like, I feel like we're like people are bad, but like the phrase mob mentality can get a bad shake at times, because like I feel like, and more often than not, the big crowds that I'm in always tend to lean positive or encouraging. Like the act of audience itself is often encouraging, and the act of cheering and everything.
They're there to cheer you in the first place. So
I just like, you have to be bad, and then the audience has to be filled with a good number of dicks to start like a good like boo, get off the stage kind of shit. That's never gonna happen. But they're decent. Like, can you remember any other song other than the 5 whole days?
Since we've started this, no. I know they had the other one. They had obviously the climax on the na 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 na. I don't remember the tune of it because the more I tried not to think about 6 whole hours, it's just playing louder and louder. But there was another song that they talked about. Oh, it's whatever song. Damn, I can't remember the words. I know they played some secondary song like 3 or 4 times as well. Where it's not you don't need me, I don't need you, or something like that. It's like, or she's tired of the guy, or something like that. God damn it. I don't remember, man. I know that it existed. I know there were like 3 or 4 songs they played throughout. But 6 whole hours and 5 long days is just blasting in my head right now. And not letting me think of the words to the rest of them. If I try to think of anything else, my brain's like I'm trying to think of something else with that kind of singer and tone. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, I'm just like, because I know she was like trying to tell a story with a couple of her songs. But the first thing that comes to my head is like, she is literally the portrait of perfection. Da 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 da. And I know that's not this movie. That's Clueless. So I can't.
All right. So yeah. Anyway, that proves my point. What role would you grab?
So
you got one roll to grab.
One roll to grab. L&M. No. I can't be a white ass Wally. So probably a member of Dujour.
I mean, Dujour is really fun, but they're not in it a whole bunch.
They're not.
Like I do.
But I could be a Turk.
I would. Although I don't think I could do it like Alan Tudyk.
Cummings?
Or Alan Cummings, yeah. Not Tudyk. I mean, they're similar vibes.
Yeah.
I would probably go for either him or the band manager first.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
I forgot
You'd
about
be a good
band manager,
actually.
I forgot about band manager. But yeah, but I'm like, yeah, the climax reveal of white ass Wally kind of removes that role for me. But although I did go as Halloween as a white guy once. One of my friends told me to do that. I don't remember. But bottom line is, band manager. I'm not. We mentioned it on previous videos. I'm not an Alan M archetype of hottest guy, quote unquote hottest guy in Riverdale type shit. Because at the beginning, the intro, they had little freeze frames on each of the people that said stuff. Unfortunately, I noticed it around Rosario's character. I'm like, oh wait, this is their names, not the actors' names. So it's like, but yeah, I'm not the hottest guy in anybody's neighborhood. So that's why I'm not an Alan M. But you know, it's okay.
So what do you think on your final thoughts?
I enjoyed the movie. Probably more than I should, quality-wise. If I'm being honest, we've gone over some of the acting choices people made in the movie, or lack thereof. Rosario, we both know you can do better than you did in this movie. You're still amazing.
We've seen it. It's proven.
Yeah. Well, you're still amazing. That said, I enjoyed it for the reasons I said earlier. It got some legit laughs out of me. Finding out the mindset that you're supposed to be for the movie early on helps a lot in finding enjoyment out of it. The second Dujour,
like the kickoff of the Dujour scene.
Exactly. The second the Dujour came out, and I'm like, so this is parody, and looking at the cast choices, this is this kind of era parody. I know exactly what they're trying to go for. Let me be that young again real quick. Maybe not that young. I'm able to understand more jokes now than I would have at that time. But yeah, I was like, okay, I can laugh at this time capsule that this movie is. And I enjoyed it. It was solid. I contemplated turning it on for one of the coworkers at work who was born the same year the movie came out, so I highly doubt it they would have seen it. But I didn't. Because I didn't want to watch it twice in the same day. Yeah. But it was solid.
All right.
I don't regret having seen it at all. It was funny. I could definitely see myself watching it again in the future.
I think this movie is okay. I think this movie is okay. I think it could be a lot better. I think the choices they make that make it interesting, they should go harder on. Okay. I think it's a satire, but it's not enough of a satire.
I will agree.
The middle of this movie kind of falls apart. They kind of lose me in the middle. It's as Josie and the Pussycats are climbing and they're doing the more famous thing. It's just kind of a, like you already mentioned, A, B, C, D.
You can see what
of teenage stardom film.
Yeah, paint by numbers is a term that
paint by numbers.
Jazz uses a lot when he describes similar situations. They're paint by numbers.
Yeah, very much so. That middle section kind of loses me. The end and the opening all the way up to kind of like that moment when Cummings holds up that empty CD case and the girls are just perfectly framed and the wind is blowing and for some reason those guys are walking behind them. The best band in the world or something like that.
I had that listed as a stand-up, but I forgot to mention it. But yeah, just number one band in the world.
Yeah, from that point, like that kind of ends my enjoyment of the beginning, and then the end at the literally at the climax concert is when I'm kind of jumped back into it. Other than a few lines and moments here and there. And like I said, I really enjoyed this, somebody doing just a dummy good is so funny. And it's so easy. Like it's an easy joke, but it's a hard execution on the point of the actor. But like the if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, and then she drops what she's holding. Like that's a funny joke.
And then later, I knew it was coming, and I still laughed when they went to the goddamn party. And Josie's like, "All these people, they're doing so. I don't think I'm really actually wanted here." And Valerie having the same thought, ending in, "I don't think they want me here." I knew it was coming. I'm like, she's not going to be thinking that at all. And she's like, if you're happy and you know, and you really want to die, then you're happy and you know, clap your hands. And she claps. She's not saying it out loud. She's thinking it. And then she goes, clap your hands. I couldn't help but laugh. Like, I knew it was coming, something of that sort. And I still thought it was funny.
So there's still those moments, but I wish, like you said, like that opening when you're like, boom, parody. I wish that tone was going throughout the film.
Consistent.
Yeah. And it's not quite there. And then as we already kind of touched on, they're not quite there on what they were trying to do with the whole, like, this is a statement piece about how pop culture is always trying to sell to you.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it by selling to you. Like it I see what they're doing, and it may have not been done with malicious intent, but I don't think the hammer was, I don't think the nail was hit with the head of the hammer on that one.
That's fair. I didn't
So
think
overall,
it was.
it's okay. I'm probably not going to watch it a third time.
See, I thought, as far as the whole malicious intent and stuff, like for me, it was like, I see what you're doing there, and I don't care if it's malicious or not. It's a good bit of it. It'd be silly not to take advantage of it. You're doing a product placement movie. Why use a lot of like fake products when you can literally have people pay you for their fake products to be real products in the movie? Yeah. So that's why I was like, malicious or not, that's genius. Make your money. It's like what was his name, the rapper Lil Dicky. I'm not sure if you've seen any of his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He had a music video where he just tried to not spend as much money as possible. So he just kind of clouded his way to the music video. Like, hey, you get to be in the video for free, but let me borrow your car, let me borrow your house for like a few minutes. Let me get like a couple lines from a rapper over here. Like, what's this got to do with saving money? One of the few funny things that guy did. He does have some bangers. He has some that aren't, but he has some good stuff.
Yeah, anyway. I like the FX show too.
Haven't seen it, but I heard it was good. Anyway,
it's season 1 is really good. Season 2 is okay.
Fair enough. So that, good folks, is Josie and the Pussycats. It was solid, but not the worst thing you'll watch. Not necessarily something you need to run and go see. But yeah, so that was that. And what are we doing next week? I don't know.
We are going to be watching My Blue Heaven, but neither of us have seen it.
Weird.
Tell them where they can find you, Omari.
Well, yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it. I'm gonna go look elsewhere to see if I can find who suggested this movie. If you want to find me elsewhere, you can find me elsewhere on YouTube at the Whatever We Want podcast with new episodes every week, every Wednesday.
You got something special coming up, right?
We actually do.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Shit, it is tomorrow. We do have something special coming up tomorrow. Damn. Our 100th episode. We've been doing it for 100 episodes. It's going to be great. I'm going to have some time. I believe Jazz, I was talking with him the other day about recording, and I think he said he's got a long episode, like about 2 hours or so. So that might be fun. We'll see what happens. Don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. No shit, I don't have anything planned. Maybe something will happen, some miracle will happen, somebody shows up. I have no idea. Bottom line is, somehow we got a 2-hour episode tomorrow. Also, for episode 100. It's a show, and if you didn't hear me, I do it with a guy named Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
There you go. And yeah, we do that every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast channel. You can also find me on YouTube. I already said that. On this channel. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi.
Come on in. Step on by.
That's right. Bill, you got anything you want to say to the folks? Any shout outs you want to make?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week with My Blue Heaven. Adiosness.